Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming for another Launchpad talk or session, what we call. Today we have Itamar, who has built this bus app in the island, and I'll tell how I actually got Itamar to come to Launchpad. So I have seen that he had done a post in one of the Facebook groups. Then I messaged him and asked would like to know about it. So then he came to Launchpad. So we had a chat. Uh, and then I realized he had done something awesome or super cool in our startup vocabulary. So then I said you should share this story because actually there's a story behind this. It's not just someone who went and built a product. So I think Itamar will share that story today, and that's something that I think we should take it out as well. So that's why we are recording it and putting it into YouTube as well, because every solution or every product that we see is actually solving a problem. So this is also solving a problem, but it became a personal problem before he solved it for the rest of the island. So thank you, Itamar, for doing it today. And also, he became a pro member of Launchpad as well. So I'm welcoming him as a pro member to the Launchpad community. So thank you so much, Itamar. So flow is yours.
Good. Right. So thank you again, everyone, for coming. My name is Itamar. I've been on the island for the past 2 years. I came here with my wife, and this clicker doesn't work, so just one second. I came here with my wife, and you can see us there. And we have just a little baby, 9 months old, Michael, who was born here. And I'll tell you just how I came to the island. So these are the first two shots that I had on my phone if I search for the Isle of Man. So you can see it's the TT and bonus points for whoever recognizes this place. I've been invited by a supplier of the company that I work for the TT 3 or 4 years ago. And we've seen around the island. To be honest, fell in love with the place. I used to live in Dubai before. And Dubai was just not for me. It was just too hot. And I think people always ask me, why'd you leave Dubai? And I always tell them that just like the Isle of Man is not for anyone and not for everyone, and Dubai is also not for everyone for completely different reasons. So it's just the 180 degrees, just a flip image of what you get in Dubai and what you get on the Isle of Man. So I fell in love with the place. I decided maybe I should move here. I convinced my wife. She also didn't really like Dubai. And then we came to the island. First day on the island, we landed. I remember it was a Sunday. We were pretty hungry, and I'm not sure about you, but when I'm hungry and I'm in a new place, I always go to McDonald's because there is no better way of knowing a place other than going to McDonald's. And I don't know if you've been to Italy's McDonald's or France's McDonald's. There are so many special things on their menu. So we wanted to go to McDonald's. I put McDonald's on Google Maps just to find out that I can either walk 25 minutes or that's it. No public transport. But I did see buses. So we decided to go to the bus station and then ask people how do I get to McDonald's. And then people just told us, get on pretty much any bus and ride for a few stops. I boarded the bus. I tried to pay as if I'm in London. I just put my card on the machine and then doesn't work. The bus driver is looking at me like, what are you doing? And then he asked me where are you going? I told him I honestly don't know, to McDonald's. And then he was like, okay, typing things, printing a ticket. And that's how I got to McDonald's. And I was pretty shocked that it was 2024 back then. And I couldn't, get this information on my phone, where I'm just used to get this information on my phone everywhere I go. So yeah, that was the first interaction with the Isle of Man public transport for me. We came back to the hotel, and then I figured somebody must have done something, right? So I Googled, And then I found out that there was one person developing an app called Busman. It was active between 2016 and 19, as per the internet. Wasn't there, so I don't know. But you can see that there is a notice, and they say, sorry, government didn't support us, so we have to close shop. There was some articles about this person as well. And then in this article, the government also says, okay, but I mean, we know this guy didn't do his, we didn't fund him, but we're working on a new thing. It's called ZipTrip. So we're going to launch that. And there was a parliament member and the director of public transport said that this is, the future, and this is great, and this is an app. And this was in 2019 or 2020, something like this. And they were all happy that there is a new app. But then it got withdrawn during COVID or after COVID. The reasons for this are unknown to me, or nothing got published. But the bus company said, fret not, there's Traveline. You can go on Traveline and you can get the data from there. And I'm not sure you can read this, but it does say, I'm not sure I can point, it does say that Busman will do their utmost to ensure all journey times were accurate, which worked, I guess, until you see some posts on Reddit. I asked the Element Transport when or if the bus information would be back up, and then they answered, not going to happen, at least not until next year, something like this. This was 8 months ago. Anyway, so Traveline is also dead in a way, but remember this name. And then there was another attempt by a guy named Thomas, and he developed an app named IOM Transport. It's still live on the App Store, so you can download it. And then when you download it, you are greeted with this lovely notice. This app is no longer actively maintained. Please contact your MHK or government if you wish to see this app working in the future. Anyway, so I discovered all this in one evening, in one sitting, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to do something, it's probably going to look something like this. People have tried. I don't know why, but they all failed. They really have tried. So I told to myself, if I'm going to do this, I have to respect three things, at least for the app to work. The first thing is the app has to be independent. Doesn't need to rely on anything else other than public data. So whatever is released to the public, that's what the app is going to use. It's not going to use anything else, or if it's going to use something else, it's not something that the app will depend on. Second thing is it has to be sustainable, both for me, so if I'm away, it can run without me, and also sustainable in a way that I can carry the cost of running it, at least for sustainable period of time, let's say a year or two, until I can find some sponsorship or some other way to monetize it. But I don't I don't count on it being monetized. So it has to be sustainable in that way, and it has to be easy to use. So people have to use it, and they will use it only if it's easy to use. And then I started planning, and I planned the architecture of the app, and I've built it in layers. So these are the layers of how I envisioned it. I'll start from right to left, because that's how I thought about it. My end goal was to have an app that will be cross-platform. It will be used on iOS and on Android. I'll have to use some sort of a map or a mapping SDK. The app itself should be designed to the latest design standards. And then I just looked at the Google Maps experience and the Apple Maps experience. I saw that it's just a central map design. Then you have a bottom sheet, and then you have the search bar. So that's more or less what I envisioned. And if I had to mock up, yes.
So I'm not sure, did you go for your background?
Oh yeah.
Whether you're technical.
Yeah. I'm technical. I'm the CTO. I'm CTO for a travel tech company. We are in the eSIM space in telecommunications. I have nothing to do with transportation or the transit space. And this was just that side hustle / hobby, call it whatever. But um, but yeah, I said I'll build this app. For this app to work, I will have to convert the PDF timetables into something that is machine readable. And then I figured that this problem is actually, I mean, people have solved this problem time and time in the world. So there are a lot of industry practices that are in place in many other places in the world. So there is a Google standard called GTFS, which is the world leading or standard feed format for public transport. This is actually the timetable data. It contains the stop data, it contains where the routes go, it contains when they're stopping, everything that you can imagine, that is information that is conveyed on a printed timetable, just in a machine-readable format. And then you would have the live vehicle positions. This was easy to get because it's readily available on Find My Bus. And then all the backend services to connect everything together. And those include some third-party services as well, things that I didn't think I would need, but during the work, I understood that they are a necessity. One example is a geocoding service. So geocoding is the service that translates written addresses. So if I'm going to Hillary House, it translates it into coordinates. These services are mainly third parties, and they're mainly proprietary, which makes them harder to use, and then also they're the big cost driver. If I have to think about the app, this is the biggest cost driver. But yeah, I said I'll build this mobile app, but I didn't really think I will do it. I thought to myself, you know what, it's a really nice idea. I spent, that was still my first, weekend on the island. And I'm still, working full time. I'm pretty busy. Don't know if I can handle this. And then we settled in, we moved into our place. And then my wife keeps on nagging me. She hates driving. So she keeps on nagging me. Can you check that timetable? Tell me when the bus comes. Can you check this? Can you check that? And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it for her. So she was really happy to learn that I'm going to build an app just for her. And if you remember Traveline from the previous slide, I actually saw that they have some sort of a B2B website landing page, and they say that you can access the data. You can just need to register or contact them. I sent them an email. They were pretty responsive. They gave me access to their FTP server, and then I could get all their data. So they have all the data for the UK, which was easy to get either way. But then they also had one file, iom.zip. And then I got it. I downloaded it. It was the most up-to-date structured data that they got from Basvanin, and this was, I think, it was correct as of start of 2024 or something like this. So it was pretty close to the actual timetable that was running, but still some deviations were there. And when I just started working on it, they started changing the timetable again and again. So I told myself, okay, I'll take this. I'll use this as a baseline. I'll build an app. This was 2024, I used Copilot, GitHub Copilot, I don't remember which model, but it wasn't really good at that time. I was pretty skeptical about agentic coding. Um, and I built something, and it worked. And I gave it to my wife. And then life happened. I was super busy. And I decided to, park it because I hit a wall with the OCR pipeline in order to translate the actual PDFs into a timetable. My idea was to get the timetable I got supplied from Travelline, and then get the PDF timetables, and then just mishmash them and build, the up-to-date timetable. The reason for this is because the timetables don't contain all the all the information. So it contains only key stops. Sometimes they have issues with the print. OCR is not as good as you want it to be sometimes. So I said, okay, I'll have this reference feed, and then from the reference feed, I will build a new most up-to-date feed. But then I hit a wall with this because it just took me so many time. Life happened, I was busy, and then I parked it. So this was 2024 still. And then we fast forward to 2025 and 2026. And in 2025, I think Claude Code was released, and then Opus later that year. And then we started using Opus with Claude Code in Mobimatter. And I saw how we move much faster and how good it is. And I decided, you know what? Let me just try. And then this is the about that. This is the first prompt that I actually put in Claude when I said, you know what? Let's see how it is. I knew that my biggest problem is the OCR pipeline. So the translation between the PDFs and the GTFS feed. So my first prompt was to gauge if Claude can translate the PDFs into something machine readable. And I was surprised to see that it did like a decent job. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't there at all. Like what it tried to do, apparently those PDFs that Bas Venin produces, they have something that is called a Type 3 font. Type 3 font was the forefront of technology in the 2000s or something, when people used Adobe Flash and things like that. But they still use it. And what's so special about those Type 3 fonts is that when you copy them and then you paste them, you just get gibberish. So it just means that computers cannot read it. So what Claude tried to do is get the screenshot of a PDF and then try to read it with its own vision capabilities, and then try to crack the font. So the idea was to crack each glyph will have a specific bytecode, and then if this bytecode comes again and again, then I know that this is an A or this is a B. But apparently what's again so special about those Type 3 fonts is that if you have two adjacent letters, they might produce a different bytecode because the combination of these two are closer, or I don't know how fonts work, to be honest. But it just happened like this. Happened to be like this, and it worked, and I was happy. I was, to be honest, super hyped about this. That I can keep on going with this project. But the OCR pipeline wasn't good, and then I sat down one afternoon. It was one weekend, and I tried setting up my own OCR pipeline as if I was about to do it manually. So I just asked Claude to do it as if I were to do it. And then it just worked. It was a very long process. I ran it on this computer, and it took 16 hours to go over all PDFs. So what I did is I asked Claude to find the coordinates of the table, and then for each table, find the coordinates of each cell, and then for each cell, crop the image, and then I have so many small images with coordinates of cell and row and column, and then just OCR those tiny images, and then the OCR on the tiny images just worked. So what I had is a PDF, and then I just as if I took scissors and I just cut the table into cells, and then I gave each cell its own name, and the cells are the actual times, and the first column is the stop times, and that's about it. I ran the OCR. I translated it into Excel files. Once I had the timetables in Excel files, everything was pretty much a breeze. And then I had to rebuild the app because I already had an app, but it was really cheaply made, in terms of design and in terms of what it was. So I wanted to rebuild the app. Again, I chose a tech stack that I'm familiar with. So this is probably, except Hetzner, is that the Mobimeter tech stack. So we also use Expo for the app. Expo is the framework that allows React Native to run on multiple platforms, so on iOS and on Android. We're using Firebase. Firebase is for the analytics. Authentication, if I were to use authentication, is also something that I could fetch from Firebase. Node.js and Cloudflare for the backend. And then I went with Hetzner. Hetzner is some sort of a cloud. It's just like the Ryanair of clouds, to be honest. You get what you pay for. It's super cheap, but you get a server. It runs, and they're pretty good. So yeah, I chose a tech stack that I'm familiar with. I tried to build the app in a fashion that I'm, just putting my focus points on what really matters. And for me, what mattered is accessibility of the app. What mattered is the privacy. So if you don't want to share your location, fine. You'll get the degraded experience, but it will still work. And then, again, the sustainability of cost awareness. I didn't want things that will just run me a very high bill if a lot of people use it. Because all of the services have a very generous free tier, but then it just stops one day, and then you're stuck with a $1,000 bill a month, which I don't wanna get into these situations. So yeah, that's how I built the app. For the routing engine, again, as I said, it's a problem that people have solved in the world multiple times, and there are two leading routing engines that are available open source. One of them is called OpenTripPlanner. This is the one that is more battle tested. It's being used by a lot of transit agencies around the world. It's running on Java, and it's 10 or 15 years old, but it's still pretty active in development. I tried it. It works. It's nice. The other one is Motus. Motus is being developed by a small team. They're based in Germany or Netherlands or both. And what they did is all they did is just take the same thing but optimize it to run on very small servers, and even sometimes locally. So you can run the entire EU network on your iPhone. So this is their demo, which I felt is really impressive, that you can run routing on the full EU public transport network on your phone, which is nice. So I chose Motus because I, again, paid for Hetzner and I have a small server. And it just works. It does the routing, and it does the real-time matching as well. I also cached as much as I can. Some things I cannot legally cache, which is disappointing, such as the geocoding results. Again, this is all highly copyrighted. Everything around mapping is a very high, a very big cost driver. Yeah, that's how I built the app. the app was released in a way to beta testers, and then I understood I can just use Claude as a teammate rather than just a agent that will build the app. So what you can see here on the right is the directory structure that I have for the project. So I have a folder for every type of task that I have, but also some sort of deliverable. So I have the API and I have the app, which you can understand what lives there. But then there's also App Store screenshots, and there is also events worker or social media. And those things are things that Claude is doing, probably using code to produce artifacts that are not necessarily, the app or the API. And I'll give you a few examples of what I was able to do. So the first one is automating the blog posting. I chose GitHub Pages for the blog, just because I already pay for GitHub, and for me it's free in a way. And GitHub Pages is serverless. I don't need to worry about anything, and it's just static content. So what I have with Claude is a weekly trigger to ideate on new blog posts. And then I get a pull request with new ideas. I just approve or reject, give the comments on the ideas. Once I approve the ideas, Claude then goes, and then there's a trigger to go and actually write these blog posts. And then you can see that the blog posts are actually, the file names are actually with the date just prefixed. So this is the actually release schedule of those posts. So every week I add like 3 or 4 blog posts, but I mean, technically if I have the time, I can just sit all day and then have 100, 200 posts in a day. It's not a big effort for my side to do this. I just need to say, oh, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea, and then read the post, see that nothing was nothing got hallucinated on the way, and then it just gets published every day at 6 a.m. GitHub Pages is getting redeployed, and then the blog gets updated in a way. And in the deployment, I just take the files that have a date in the present or in the past. So this is how the blog is automated, for example. And I mean, I didn't write anything out of it, inside of it, except the actual instructions to Claude on how to write the blog post. And there are some features within the posts, such as maps and some cards that are showing on multiple posts. And these are done mainly for Google SEO. But except for these instructions, which I wrote with Claude, this is technically running on autopilot. I just need to approve the ideas. So that's one thing. Second thing is social media videos and Instagram Reels. I'll show you 2 examples. One of them I put on Instagram before, and the other I haven't.
Here we observe the Isle of Man commuter in its natural habitat. It does not know when its bus will arrive. It does not know if its bus still exists. And so it waits, as its ancestors waited, since the dawn of bus vanning.
Or you just download Kivoon. Every bus, live times, completely free. Link in bio.
So that's the first one, and that's another one.
Don't travel like it's 1897. Download Kivoon. Every bus, every train, free. Link in bio.
Right. So in these 2 videos, I'll just pause on this one. Oops. So this one actually is a raw footage that I took on the train when I rode the train a few weeks ago. And then also you can see that this is the Douglas railway station in the back. So I just took a picture of the Douglas railway station. And then I just have, a folder with stock. I call it stock photos, and then I gave small metadata to each photo. So this is the Douglas railway station, for example, or this is a railway rod, whatever. And then Claude has, these to get information from. And then use them in VO or use it in whatever to generate the actual videos. Again, weekly ideation trigger. This is actually much harder than the blog posts because I need to be much more involved in the creation process. After I approve an idea, Claude will script it. And then after the script is ready, Claude will use VO 3.1 to actually create the video. So everything you see here is AI generated, obviously. But there are some limitations on VO. I mean, I can only generate videos out, I think it was 8 seconds or 5 seconds, something like this. You have to stitch them together. In terms of voicing, the voices change between the videos. So you have to, send it to a third party. I'm using 11 Labs, and then they have a feature called speech to speech, and then it just takes the speech, but just stitches, one unified voice on all of it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is semi-automated to the point that it can be automated fully, but there is a lot of trial and error in these. Just because sometimes those models sometimes hallucinate, sometimes I don't know. You see a hand, waving in the back. It just doesn't feel like really, really human. I don't want it to feel like really human, but it just has to be good to a certain point that I'm comfortable enough posting it. So this is these are the reels with 2 examples on how I did them. The composition itself, Claude is doing it with Remotion. Remotion is some sort of a video editing framework written in JavaScript. So it's code in a way. Claude is editing the videos in Claude. And then the last 1 or 2 seconds of this video, you saw there is some sort of a slide with the app logo and download now. This is also like an HTML that Claude took a screenshot of and just pasted it and stitched it onto the video itself. So these are the reels. Another thing is the self-improvement loop. And this is mainly around the real-time matching. This is actually interesting because within 3 weeks, I was able to get from like 40 to 50% matching to real-time passes to almost 99% without doing anything. So that was pretty cool. The problem is Find My Bus has only the blimps on the map, and it just says Route 5 is currently at here, and Route 21 is there. Sometimes the buses disappear. Sometimes the bus drivers have finished the trip already, and they just have an hour's rest or so, but they already programmed the next trip in the bus system. So the next trip is already showing. So assume you have, I don't know, a bus laying over in Douglas. His next trip is in Peel, actually, in 2 hours. And the bus driver has, a rest period for an hour or two. And you get, the bus that should come in 2 hours to Douglas, sitting now in Douglas. So to users, it might seem that the bus was, very, very early, like 2 hours early, which doesn't really make sense. So all of these, edge cases and stuff, I had to first get to know that they exist, and second, see how I can fix them. When I say I didn't do anything. It was all Claude. So what I did is just build a system for Claude to be able to analyze the accuracy of the matching logic and be able to replay it. So what I have every minute, I save a ping of every vehicle that I know where it's at, and it's just getting saved into a database. And then each iteration, I get this data, I replay it. So I replay the full day, and then I see bus, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 was posing as route 5, and he was in these coordinates. And to the matcher algorithm, it looked like it was connected to the trip that that departs at 10 a.m. from Douglas, whatever. And then I replay all this. And then first Claude asks, wait, does it make sense that this vehicle is assigned to this trip, yes or no? And then looking at the complete picture, there's other guardrails like see how far from the actual course, the actual shape of the route the bus is, and some other checks. See if it makes sense for the bus to be matched to this trip or not. And then if not, just try to see if the problem is systemic. And for most issues, the problem is systemic, because if the bus driver's behavior is to program the bus to the next trip before they even finish the previous trip, then yes, and it happens. So I mean, if you would look, if you look at the data, most of the buses that come down the Prospect Hill, they just either disappear or they change the route number, and they get the new route number. So the next departure from Lord Street. So the last 2 to 3 stops is just bad data. And the original code was to first understand, wait, did this bus finish its trip, yes or no? And then proceed to the next trip. And this was, one of the bigger bugs that this self-improvement loop fixed. So it just, every iteration, every day, I got a summary for previous day, what went wrong, and how we can fix it. I can say that most of the PRs that I got were very lazy from Claude. I mean, Claude tried to just fix the actual thing that went wrong, but not look at the whole system with a more holistic view. So I had to redirect and ask why. But I mean, I was just the one to push back. I got working code in return, and then it ran for another day and another day and another day, and yeah, that was about it. And then within 3 weeks, I think the matching utilization and this whole algorithm have become much better. There are still edge cases that I know need to be solved, but otherwise it's working and it's much better than it was. So I mean that's pretty cool, and I didn't spend much time on it. So it's really cool that it's just happening on the background. So yeah, and the last thing is the travel alerts. As you know, probably you have to follow the bus company on Facebook to be able to know about changes, deviations, whatever. So I have an hourly trigger for Claude to use some service that scrapes the public Facebook pages. And then I created a schema for Claude to create a file which will have the types of the deviations or cancellations or changes in the way, and then it just publishes it as a travel alert. If you use the app and you saw the travel alert icon, so this is how it works. It's also completely automatic. I just need to approve the actual travel alert, so I get an email. It's again a pull request in GitHub. and I just approve it, and then it goes live. So again, this is something that also happens in the background without me touching anything. So yeah, that was it from how the app is working. And then I just prompted, I'm just doing a presentation. Just look at the data, try to find something interesting, insights. So that's what it found. So from this graph, what we can see, the most important thing I think that we can see is that the demand on Sunday is similar to the demand on Tuesday or Wednesday, but the actual supply of buses is much lower. It might be, some confirmation bias that I have, but I mean, maybe people are searching more because they don't get, the usual bus times, or I don't know what the reason is, but it looks like that there is more demand than there is the actual supply with buses on Saturdays and Sundays, which is interesting. Second insight was where people are going. This wasn't surprising at all. Most people are going to Douglas, either Lord Street or Victoria Street, and then airport and hospital, and then Ramsey, Port Erin, Pill. I wasn't surprised by this. So how many journey plans in these? Next one is when people plan most. You can see that the fleet peaks at around 3 p.m., which I guess makes sense because of school traffic maybe. But most people plan around 4 p.m. Around evening, and this is true for both weekdays and weekends. I try to understand if it's only weekdays or only weekends, but it looks like people mostly plan around 4 p.m. But it wasn't, as exciting insights. So I asked is there some juicy one you can derive? So we got this. So you can flip a coin and then know if your bus is coming on time or not. So it's 49.9% of buses are on time at any given moment. I think it's still, a pretty good figure because only 0.4% of the buses are late more than 20 minutes. So I guess I'll take that. But the biggest offender is 25B. I guess it's a school bus, I think. It runs once a day. I think it's just because of that, it's the biggest offender. All these 25B, 3B, 19C, 16B, I think these are, running once or twice a day. I didn't think they exist, actually, those buses. And then I looked at the timetable, and then I saw that they almost never run. So this is why they're probably the worst offenders. But yeah, I think that's about it. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you. Yeah. No, I don't know to put a finger on it. Also because I don't collect any information about the users themselves. So I don't know who they are in a way. I got some emails from blind people actually that told me that this is the first time that they were able to read a bus timetable because the timetables, as I said, they have this font issue, so also screen readers cannot read them, and hence they had a bad experience with this as well. So this was really heartwarming to see that I helped people that couldn't get this as a service before. And this is something that everyone is taking for granted in other places. Like, I don't know, if you're in the UK, you just type it in Google Maps and it just works. Yeah, and one thing I haven't mentioned is the first thing that I try to do is to see how I can just upload it to Google Maps. They have a page and everything. You just need to upload the GTFS feed, but there's a small checkbox that just says you confirm that you are the official owner of this data. So I couldn't tick it, and they wouldn't take it even if I ticked it. So yeah, I hope I can help bring it to Google Maps and make it official data. I met with the bus company, and they seemed pretty supportive. So I'm hopeful about this, but we'll see.
Have you asked McDonald to sponsor you?
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know who will, but I think I will prefer a local business on the island rather than McDonald's. But yeah.
It's a great story for their marketing.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I was going to just ask, have you got a sort of rough cost of what the sort of your ongoing costs to sort of support that system, and have you found any ways so far to monetize or offset any of those costs?
Yeah. So as I said, the geocode is the biggest cost driver, and it just depends on how people use it. I try to minimize the cost as much as I can. So there is some things I can cache to a specific period in time, and some things that I cannot. These are just the terms and conditions of the service. Mapping is also an more expensive bit. And the rest is very cheap. So the server I think is like $20 a month, and Firebase is free. Expo is, I don't know, less than $50 a month, something like this. I think that last month I closed it at around $400 monthly. And it will just grow as people use it. So currently I had around 300 daily active users, and a few thousands monthly. So this is the cost estimates for this. In terms of monetizing, I still can sustain it for the time being. I think that I would want to increase the market penetration, and then go and ask businesses if they want to advertise within the app, and then just do the advertising, geo advertising, or just some banners and stuff. It won't be something that will interfere with the user experience, but with these advertisements, I would be able to at least cover the costs for the app. So I think that's the general idea. Yeah. Yeah. So the geocoding service, I'm using actually multiple services. One is from Here Maps, and they charge by the request. So each request, so when you type, and then let's say you stop for 400 milliseconds, I fire a request. I don't know, you wrote HIL for Hillary House, and then I fired a request for HIL, and then you type AR, and then I fire another request. So they charge you by the request. I think 1,000 requests is about $5, something like this. And you can see how quickly this can accumulate. So if you have many users and all of them are typing addresses, so this service just becomes very expensive as people use it. So yeah, I tried to cache. I got a lot of places information from OpenStreetMaps, and these are just free to use. So at least the popular places, if you write airport or if you type, I don't know, hospital or Nobles, this will not go to Here Maps. But if you start with a specific address, I don't know, 14 Westmoreland Road or whatever, it will have to go to them. So this will incur cost. And the mapping, they charge you by the user. So each user that downloads the map tiles is getting counted every month, and then they charge you by the user. You have some sort of a free tier, I don't remember how many, and then afterwards you get charged by the user.
Is your wife happy?
Yeah.
In terms of like,
Yeah.
how much time would you say you put to this?
Um,
How much time to manage it? I know you've got Claude running agents doing various tasks, but
yeah.
you approve. So
Yeah, I would say that building it, I started, it was mid-January this year. I worked only over weekends and I used to work a few hours over the weekend. So if I have to sum it, let's say 10 days, 15 days, something like this, overall. And the day-to-day things are, I mean, they don't take much of my time. I do need to maybe spend 15 to 20 minutes a day roughly, and I don't do it every day. So some days I might, work an hour. Some days I might not. But yeah, that's the overall consumption of time. That yeah. Yeah.
where did you get the name from?
The name. Yeah, so when I built the app, I wanted to call it Turn, like the bird, and also like Turn. So it was ready with Turn. Everything was, Turn branded. That's why it's blue like this, coastal vibes and stuff. And then I figured that I mean, this name is really heavily trademarked in the UK for various reasons. I didn't find anyone that actually uses it, but I didn't want to get into this. So I changed it last minute to Kivoon. Kivoon, I'm Israeli, by the way, and my native language is Hebrew. And Kivoon in Hebrew just means a way or direction. So it was just a last minute thing. Yeah. I thought it just, it's a two-syllable word, and people will be able to pronounce it pretty easily. So that was it.
I want to ask, what's your take on, you scraped data from lots of different sources and you've talked to different organizations and companies about getting access to open data. What's your take on why you have to do that and why it's so difficult and why there isn't any more open data or provided data? For example, why doesn't the government provide map tiles or the Isle of Man? Why don't you get geocoding data openly for the Isle of Man that would encourage innovations like this? I just want to hear what your take is on the reasons behind those things. Like you said, the bus company is quite cooperative and quite open to talk to you. So why is there a lack of like sharing the data there, and same with the government kind of thing?
Yeah. As for the geocoding and mapping, I know that it's just the reality all over the world. I mean, there's no one government that I know of that gives you, mapping tiles or geocoding or anything like this. This is why you have projects like OpenStreetMap and of the likes available. But in terms of bus data. Which is available in other places as as an open data scheme. I honestly don't know. I, uh, I think that this should be one of the more essential things that that a public service should release. I also spoke with one person who told me that they filed a Freedom of Information request a few years back for the stops data to know where the stops are, because this wasn't available as well. And I don't know why, but it didn't get fulfilled for multiple reasons. I think it's just government inefficiency in a way. If somebody will want this to be released, it will be released. And I think if I can help it, be released and push for it, then I'll do it. I'm happy to release the timetable data that I have. I don't mind, but it has to come from the government as I see it, and they have to put an official stamp on it.
But is it like, must have talked to them or got some feedback? Is it that they actively don't want to share that data, or is it that they want to but there's something getting in the way, or is there just lack of will or lack of finance or resource to put towards it? Like,
I think that lack of will or finance probably was the case in the past, because if you can, if you, I'm not sure if you were here in the first or the second slide, but I just walked through, many people who tried and failed, and if each one of them just said, I tried doing it, I got some support from the government, but they didn't cooperate later down the road. One said they didn't fund me, which is valid. Like, I worked for this full time, but I haven't got any funding, so I have to stop it. And the other one said, I want to give it for free. This is a community project. But then the government still didn't want to release the data. I honestly don't know why they didn't release the data. Probably lack of will or lack of funding. Probably. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but after I released the app, they reached out to me. I met with them, and they seemed, pretty cooperative and happy about the fact that I was building this app. So there might be some change in the government, or at least specifically in public transport. I hope that I can make some change, and I hope that people will see that, and the government will actually see that if you release data, or even if you don't release data, and people just use whatever they have, they can do quite cool stuff. So there's no reason not to, especially when this is the world standard. Like, if you go to the UK Ministry of Transport website, you can get all the feeds for even very niche bus operators that just do holiday buses, or travel agencies, whatever. You can get the data for their buses as well. It's just readily available. It's probably part of their regulation. I don't know how it works over in the UK, but it's just something that is, I think it's a very, very quick win. And it's not only for public transport, it's for everything. Yes. Yeah, mapping is just is a very unique field, I think. And it's true also, I mean, in other governments, I try to see both in Israel and in the UAE. In Israel, for example, you have gov maps, which are government maps, but I think you still have to pay for them if you want to use the information from government maps. So it's still somehow copyrighted. And also in the UK, I did see it's crown copyrighted. Mapping stuff is also crown copyrighted. So there is something about mapping. I don't know. Maybe it's the industry practice to just copyright everything and then charge for it and not release it, except for OpenStreetMaps. But yeah, I think it's just a lost cause for now, and it's not something that I cannot go around in a way. So I think I'm fine with it. So I haven't.
Maybe you should talk to Visit Isle of Man.
Yeah.
That's also a good argument for them, saying we can give you
Yeah.
access to everything.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the conversation I'm also trying to ignite. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's mostly through word of mouth. I think 60% just direct downloads to the app, and then the 40% is coming from Google Ads. I got the free trial offer from Google, which is around £500 free trial, and the cost per 1,000 views on the island is super cheap, around, I don't know, 40 cents, something like this. So you can understand how many times I can show this advertisements to people on the island again and again and again. People think that I'm running, a complete marketing team with a huge marketing campaign, but it's just £500. I'm trying to use it sparingly. So now in the TT, I'm spending more, but usually I don't spend more than £5-6 a day. Until I just deplete it, and then I'll just rethink. But social media is a desert. Yes.
You contacted like local media, like the couriers, well, that's to get a feature put in.
Yes.
So you can expect response.
Yes. 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 So I did reach out to every media outlet on the Isle of Man. I got no response, but I did get an email from the BBC Isle of Man. I didn't reach out to them. And then I was featured in the BBC. There was one article, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this one also, I think, boosted downloads back then. Yeah, since then, nobody still replied.
You try and charge you and sell your advertising. So even if you've got a really interesting story to tell them, they have no interest unless you'll pay their advertising. It's my experience in the papers. I mean,
and not only that, in the work for excellence, unless you pay advertisement, they don't even finally pay to play. One thing I want to ask, you talked about approaching local businesses for advertising. Do you think there are other similar apps like this, or public service apps that not necessarily transport related, but in any field, that would warrant having an actual platform for advertising locally, where if it was available, if you did talk to local advertisers and find them, you could say, oh, you can advertise in this app and you can advertise in other apps, and therefore providing monetization to anybody else who wants to build apps. Build like a small advertising platform for local advertisers. Have you considered that? And do you think are there enough other potential apps that people could make?
I think that the scale on the island is super low. Like everything is super small.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it. I mean, if you wish to go that route, I mean, you can just integrate Google AdMob or something like this. Just display Google display ads. I think you can restrict it to only advertisers that chose to display ads on the Isle of Man. So you can do something like this with Google Display Network or something like this. But I don't think there is space for this just because of the smaller scale of things on the island. Yeah, yeah. So I think if a business will want to advertise in, I don't know, Manx Radio or something, they will be a good candidate for me. Yeah. I don't know. It will just, I guess it will just come. Also with Mobimeter, it was something that, I mean, happened by chance. It was my bachelor's party, and I was woken up 6 a.m. by my best friend. We're going to Bulgaria. Pack your bags. I didn't have a roaming package. I didn't know what to do. I figured eSIMs are an option. That was in 2020, like it was mid-COVID. And then I said, oh, maybe I can, solve it and, create a marketplace for this. And then that's how Mobimeter was conceived in a way. So I don't know what will happen. Just need to be out and about, I guess. Yeah. So again, for this, there are two options. First, the bus company already published their PDF booklet. So I already loaded it, and it will just take effect when TT starts. But I am also hoping that I will be able to get this data straight from the bus company in a more structured format. Either way, it will have the information, but it will be much more accurate, I think, if I get it straight from them.
Yeah. That's a problem you could probably solve for them, to be honest. Build them a system where they enter the data into their database and it produces the timetables for them. And
yeah, they have it. They have it. They already have it. I mean, the only thing that they need is just to publish it. No. I mean, they actually they have all the systems. I think they have all the everything. Like from what I was able to gather, I think they have all the systems they need to create something like this. Even to have an app in a way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a local machine. I have an old MacBook that I had a cat step on it, and then the screen just completely broke. So I'm using it as a desktop type of thing. It's just always connected, always on my local network at home, and then it just runs there. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you for everyone, and thank you, Itamar, as well. So if you visit Launchpad, so you can have a chat with Itamar as well, since he will be at Launchpad, more often. And so from the Launchpad side, we just launched our new platform. So if you go to our website, discoverlaunchpad.com, and sign in, so you will be able to see the community. You'll be able to see like discussions and things like that. We haven't done the official announcements per se, it's because we are also testing the platform now. So we will be putting more content, for the community as well. There will be some startups related discussions, entrepreneurship related, like short courses and things like that as well. So it's a good place for everyone to have some discussion. So that's something we are trying to test as well. So when you get a chance, go and create an account on discoverlaunchpad.com as well. And thank you everyone for coming. Good night. Cheers.